tell you, love did walk through the door. It's through the door, it's on the floor. Hell, if it goes well, it's on the ceiling with this guest. I want to talk to you about this particular lovely woman that you can see only if you're watching this on YouTube. For those of you listening, you're missing out. I'd get home and get my ass on YouTube. Right now, the Yeah Come On Show presents this lovely lady, and today we're going to be talking about sex. It's what everybody does, unless you're a virgin. So listen and enjoy. And if you're 12, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast anyway. Who's better to discuss this than a woman who has made a career out of turning colts into stallions? That's right. She helps men channel their primal instincts in the bedroom. She also hosts Sex and Sarrah Rose podcast. That's a podcast I need to watch. And she's the woman behind Tantric Activation. Please welcome Sarrah Rose, the lovely Sarrah Rose.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No. Thank you for being here, Sarrah Rose. Thank you for being on the Yeah Come On Show. And I just want to ask one question, because I got some pervert dude I work with on the radio that likes to act like Yeah Come On is a sexual thing. When you heard about the Yeah Come On Show, did it come sexually to you, or did you think, nah, man, it's like a battle cry, like, hell yeah, come on, brother. What's up?
I was like, yeah, I'm coming on.
Okay. I just want to know. It happens sometimes. I wasn't sure. Brett Barney, my co-host, I want to thank you for being on the Yeah Come On Show today along with Sarrah Rose. And as always, the on again, off again, Tyler Maynard, who is back at our studios located in Alpharetta at Oxygen Financial. Special love going out to him. And I'm going to put my name in here right now, Sarah, because my whole family was up. And I don't want my kids being associated with what we're about to talk about. I'm just trying to be a good father. And here we go. I just renamed myself Southside Steve. So pleasure to meet you. Did you have sex today?
Not yet. It's early. I'm on the West Coast.
Okay. Brett, did you have sex today?
Yes. It's not early. It's late in the afternoon on the East Coast.
My wife had a kid 6 weeks ago. I'm not having sex. Haven't had sex since 4 days before the baby because we thought that would help things along. So I had awkward from behind sex. And I've never slept with a fat person. No offense to you fat girls out there, but I did. I slept with a fat girl. I had to. I did it. I know that, So my wife, she got it. And I thought we would have a baby. And we did, but it took 4 days later. I didn't drive her to have that kid. We still had to pull it out, if you know what I mean. She's got a scar. Sarah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know how you follow that one up if you've never met me before.
All right. Well, I'm just telling you, I'm a good person. I've had 2 kids. I've got a 22-year age gap between my wife and I. I've always had a 15-year age gap between anybody I dated. I always dated girls till they were about 25, and then I stopped, and then I went back down again. I just never really, I was hooking up with promotional girls, beer tub girls just out of college, and that's kind of where my head was. I don't know, asking you, a professional, is that a maturity level, or was it because I was mature, had a really kick-ass home, all the toys, and I was fun to be around, and my job kind of puts me in fun places? Was it my personality? What do you think?
I think that it just depends on person to person. So this is for real. Like, some people, it is their authentic self. It is their truth to live that type of lifestyle. Other people are doing it because they feel like that's what they have to do. They have to prove that they're a man by acting in this way. So I don't know you enough yet to know which of those it is for you. Only you can really tell the truth there.
Sarrah, I know that you're a professional. I know. I'm looking at your credentials, and I got to tell you, I wouldn't take off my cool sunglasses because that's what the Yeah Come On Show does if Brett's print wasn't so damn small and I didn't have time to increase it. I don't know what this font is, Brett, or what it is, but you have to be an ant to read this.
10-point single space.
All right, well, go big, son. Go big or go home. Right, Sarah?
Exactly.
Yeah, baby. All right. No, Sarrah, I will tell you that I'm very shallow. Brett is slightly deeper, our co-host. If you're around me 10 minutes, you know me. I don't really hide anything. There's no secrets. I've always kind of been the clown guy. but I think I was an ultimate lover. I know how to close, if that makes any sense to you.
Oh
A lot of
God,
guys
closing
can't,
is so important.
and I'm a closer. I am. I'm a one. Like, we have sex always. If you and I went out on a date, chances are we would make out or have sex the first night, just because the evening would go that way. And everybody makes that exception, going, I don't normally do this, but
Right.
and I heard that speech a lot. I can't believe this happened. I don't normally do this. And I'm like, look, it's okay whether you wait 4 weeks or we do it tonight if we continue to date or we never see each other again. There's no apologies as long as nobody's cheating on somebody. That's the one thing I don't go for. I don't know about you, but I'm like, if you're married, I'm sorry. Stay away.
It's a mess. You don't want to go there.
Have you been there?
No.
Good girl. Brett, I bet you have, you bastard. Sorry, Brett.
No
Sorry.
comment.
No comment. Yeah, I don't touch married women. I don't even like messing with somebody's girlfriend. I'm like, man, there's just, it's just not worth it. But in doing what you're doing, I think you could help a lot. I think you probably know better than I. If you look at people, and I'm just going to guess on this, you can tell me if I'm correct, as far as stallions, as far as closers, guys that are confident in the bedroom, regardless of whether they've got 12 inches, 8 inches, or 6. Anything below that, I don't know that you're going to be too confident. Maybe. I don't know. 5. I'll go 5.
Oh, you are.
So, in that situation, is the percentages of like less than 10% of the male population that has that kind of confidence and can close, and is everybody else at a different level of struggle?
Yeah, most guys really are struggling when it comes to sexuality. And that's what I train guys to do, is literally to be the fucking closers. Like, and especially in my Man on Fire program, is a group coaching program that we do for 6 months. I am on their asses to like become fucking sexual masters. And that's a big part of it, knowing how to close. Like, I've gone out with so many guys that could have had me. They just didn't know how to fucking close. So I walk away and I go find someone else that can.
Oh, no doubt. I'm going to give you a personal story. I ran across a girl when I was living downtown in Atlanta. And have you ever been to Atlanta?
I haven't, no.
All right. Well, I don't recommend it at the moment. I don't recommend travel right now. Just stay West Coast. You stay safe. But I will say that I come in contact with a sales girl that I had slept with just one time, and she's on a date, and I met her, and then I kind of mentioned where I was going to be, which was 40 miles from where we were, and I was going to be there from 10 to midnight just doing a radio promotion. Well, I get there, and this is like 7:30 when I ran into her and her date, and I was just being me, hey, dude, what's going on? Hey, I love your feet. Oh, my God, nice toes tonight, whatever. I'm foot fetish. This chick was there, and I was like, what happened to the guy? She goes, he needed to go home. And literally, I said, well, you and I should go to the bathroom and do something naughty, making a joke. She goes, I think that's a fantastic idea. And then I was like, all right. And then I looked at the bar owner. I said, don't you have a downstairs? Before the gig even started, he takes me downstairs. We got nasty. I'm talking, she had her foot up on a pole. We're in a booth. I'm hit, it's like, damn. And then I found a bar rag for clean. I mean, sense of timing I had, because I don't know whether she was, taking care of herself or had an IUD or the pill or whatever. But we just did that. And then she kind of gave me a kiss on the cheek and left. And I was like, far out. I don't have to take her home. I don't have to buy her drinks. But that happened. And like you said, that's the kind of girl you are. That guy that couldn't close, you went out and found it.
Yeah, exactly. And women want that. I mean, women are just as horny as guys are. Women want good sex. Women want some guy that's going to take them and ravish them and make them feel fucking amazing, give them orgasms. Like, be that guy. Be that guy. I hear all these guys complaining they don't get laid. Well, because you're not being the guy that that does it. You got to show up as that guy.
Yeah, isn't it a shame? I think the relationship and being a gentleman does come into play if a relationship comes about. I mean, you teach that as well, right? Once you've gotten the girl, and maybe sex is the way you got her, then the gentleman. But a lot of these guys are just too sweet and too timid, and they just couldn't get laid if they had to.
You can do both even from the beginning. Like, you don't have to be a nice guy, doesn't have to be a gentleman. Timid and sweet doesn't mean that you're a gentleman. Like, you can be a gentleman, James Bond, and still be the kind of guy that has the sex that she wants to have. So you can be both.
That's good. I mean, yeah, it doesn't all have to be closed, because I run into the guy that thinks he's a closer, but he's not, and he gets angry when things don't go his way. Whereas if things didn't go my way, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Friends, what's up? Or I'll be a gentleman. I'll still buy your drink, but I wasn't a real big drink buyer. But if I had, I would still go ahead and pay for it. I've seen guys run up a tab and then close it and only buy their drinks and walk out and leave the chick with her drinks because they saw they weren't going to be able to take her home. I mean, I've seen some real bad things. And it's usually the dudes that are muscly or tan too much.
Are we allowed to discriminate like that in this day and age?
I think we can go after tan people because they do it to themselves.
Okay.
They call that Jersey Shore discrimination.
There you go.
Call them like you see them, Steve.
Yeah. How the Jersey Shore guys got laid, I would look at those dudes and go, dude, I don't know what girl, she would have to just trip and fall for them to land on their box. I don't know how they got laid. I really don't. I mean, I look at those.
He's worth like $30 million.
He wasn't then. He is now. And I was at one of his shows in Vegas. He doesn't do anything. He's like, yo, Pauly D. I don't even know if he's mixing. He's just standing there with a volcano hair. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I don't want to hate on the guy because, he's getting laid, right?
I mean, I gotta say, one of my favorite guys to have sex with is in Jersey, so I can't hate the Jersey boys.
Is he like that though? Is he that type of dude, like the Jersey guy?
He's no, he's actually, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and then he's a fighter, and he's fucking badass on the mat and on the mattress, both.
Mm-hmm. Don't act like you've been on the mattress, Sarah. You've been on the hood of the car. You've been on the washer and dryer. You've been on the back of the couch. How many times, I'll be honest with you, most sex I had was not on my mattress. My couch more than anything, or my floor. But, you don't really want to take girls to the bed unless you just constantly want to be the sheet washing guy, and I just didn't want to do that.
So you don't want to wash sheets, but you're all right with that stuff staying on your couch?
Believe it or not, I was. No, hold on. I didn't just hit it on the couch. It was a leather couch, so I was able to wipe it off. And it was so funny because I had my couch that I slept on and the other one, and they were two. I bought them at the same time, and they were kind of like a cowhide tan. One of them was real light, and the other one was just dark. It had claw marks. I'm like, I wonder if anybody's figuring this out. But it was from body oil, not bad stuff, guys. I didn't make a mess there. It was our own body oil, our sweat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want to have to wash some sheets to get that out.
No. And what if you got another girl coming over? Certain girls got the bedroom and certain girls didn't. If there was a girl I'd been dating, then I would say, okay, we're going to the bedroom. But I didn't want, if I knew she might come back 4 days later, I didn't want to have to wash the sheets if I hooked up with the chick I just met on the couch. I wasn't cheating. I didn't know what that girl was doing when I wasn't around either. That's the other thing. You got to keep jealousy out of it, correct?
Yes, and that gets rough because people definitely get attached. So if you're just open, it's best to be very open about that you just have sex with whoever you want because, but even when you do, then they want you more.
All right. You know what? You're exactly right. And that's weird, but so true. Tell me, on your podcast, Sex and Sarrah Rose, when you're talking on that, which I'd definitely like to check it out. So wherever you guys get your podcast, check it out, Sex and Sarrah Rose. Are you bringing on guests that you actually have slept with? Or are you bringing on people that are open with their struggles? How does it work?
I have not had on guests yet that I've slept with. That would be fun, though. I should do that. Good idea. But no, typically I'm bringing on other experts that I talk with around sexuality or dating, things like that, tantra, just stuff that we're educating people around sex, but also keeping it fun, telling my stories as well.
All right, you said tantra. Is it tantra or tantra? Am I just a redneck?
A lot of people say tantra. I say tantra.
Brett, what do you say?
I say tantra. I'm from the South, though.
Tantra. Yeah.
Tantra.
Yo, man. Hey, man, I'd like to have some of that tantra, man. Let's do it. I want one of them 49-second orgasms. Tell me how you do it, Sarrah Rose.
49 seconds. Wow. So you're going beyond the big 20-second orgasm. You're reaching 49.
I think I've only had like 2 or 3 around 20 seconds. And it was weird. It's like I was having one. I thought I was done. And then I was having another. Or it just went longer. It's only happened to me a couple of times, and I was like, "Good God, what was that?" And you're like, you know. But for some reason, you know, masturbation. I never masturbated until I got laid. Is that weird? Do you find that to be weird?
Well, I guess it depends on what age you were when you first had sex.
18.
18. So you never masturbated before you were 18?
I did not.
Yes. I mean, some guys don't, but other guys start earlier, like 12, 13. It's just kind of.
My son, he's 3, and he won't. And he's like, "Dad, Dad," and I'm like, "Don't touch it. If you don't touch it, it'll go down. Leave it alone."
Why do you tell him not to touch it?
Cause I don't want him to have a baby thing in front of me. I'm like, I am not seeing a kid do that. I'm like, he just looks down, and I'm like, oh God. My wife's like, oh my God, look. I'm like, okay, it's no big deal. I'm a guy. Brooks, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. And I tell him not to touch it, and he doesn't, and it goes away. So I don't know. He can get curious on his own. I just don't want to be a part of that. You know?
Right. Well, and maybe you let him know that. Just be like, that's, you know.
That's yours.
Yeah, it's yours. Explore it when you're on your own.
Yeah, but I don't want him doing that at 5, 4, 3.
It's very normal, actually. There are, they have seen through ultrasounds, babies actually touching themselves in utero. Like, so even before we come out of the womb, we're already touching ourselves. So it's really normal.
Is that the same with girls too?
Yeah. I mean, girls, like, kids can give themselves orgasms as early as like 2 years old.
What?
Okay. I'm telling you, that never happened. I had a foot fetish. I remember looking at girls' feet in sandals in kindergarten and be like, I like toes. I don't know why, but I like looking at toes. And then I could recognize bad toes. And I'm like, I didn't like those. I like these. And I remember touching Lisa across the street's back, you know, when we were like playing doctor or whatever, like 7 or 8. Nothing happened. But I was the kid in first grade that was French kissing a girl named Jackie. And then she said for every push-up I could do, she'd French kiss me. My question is, where did she learn to do that?
And so were you jealous when you thought about that?
No, I just want to know. I think to this day I should find her and go find her father and be like, you're going to jail. I know something was going on. You know, I don't know.
Maybe she was practicing with her hand. I don't know.
Who knows, kissing? I think everybody did that. Brett, I know you're the guy that you practiced that. I bet you were like a freshman in college at Alabama trying to figure out.
That was me. Me and my body pillow just laying side by side, hand wrapped around.
Look, but you know, Brett's a relationship guy, Sarah. He likes to bring them in, keep them, take them on vacations with his mama, and then break up with them. That's the way he rolls.
Serial monogamy.
I am a serial monogamist. I know that. Like, I looked it up and added it out after my last relationship ended. Over the last 12 years, I've been in a relationship for 10 and a half of them.
With how many different people?
4.
Okay.
Wow. That's Sarah. Talk to him.
That's from like 18 to 30.
Oh.
Like some relationships were like 4.5 years or 3.5 years.
Oh my
Why do you end
God.
The dumb part was staying in without realistically seeing marriage as a possibility. And it's stuff I've learned from it. I'm not gonna lie.
It took you 4 relationships and 11 years to learn. Slow learner, dude. Let me tell you, and Sarah, please tell me if I'm wrong, because I think you know more. I just don't have the diplomas that you have and the credits that you have, and I haven't written a how to date book or anything along those lines, nor do I have a podcast talking about it, although this one goes there. But I never saw staying with somebody. If you're having a good time, I would keep dating them, but unless I thought they were the one, I wasn't going to stay there longer than maybe even a few months. But I could keep going out with them if they were cool with it and I was cool with it. It could grow into something, but if it wasn't there, why would you be, monogamous? Why shut yourself down if you think you're like 80% with somebody? Am I wrong?
Some people like monogamy. They prefer monogamy, and they feel more comfortable. They feel more secure. They feel like they're a better person in their life when they're in a monogamous relationship. So doesn't necessarily mean that they have to think, oh, this is the one for the rest of my life, but they just feel better in that environment. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, Brett, I guess you're okay. But I would
Finally,
not.
somebody that says it.
Well, look, I don't know if you want to give your number, Sarah, but I know my number. Brett, do you know your number? And I'm talking about sex partners. And we're going to go heterosexual partners as well as homosexual partners. Doesn't matter. Partners. So, Brett, how many guys? How many guys?
I know mine, but I'm not going to share it. Because, well, I'm at my girl's house right now. And, like, kind of when we started this relationship, that was part of the discussion was, like, what's happened in the past has happened, kind of go your way. And she's sitting a wall away from me with the door open right there. And we'll hear everything. So, and she's actually –
Is that healthy? Is that healthy, Sarah, for him? Now, if they both agree never to talk about the past, like he might be in a room in a restaurant.
We talk about the past. Like, I just don't – how was I going to stop you from, like, doing what you did at 18, and how are you going to stop me from doing what I did? You know what I mean?
It's just kind of a fun thing for me. Yeah. It's not a jealousy thing.
Yeah, because your number's astronomical.
Sorry.
Astronomical. All right, I got to hear this astronomical number.
5,000. No, it is 400. My wife is 419.
All right, I mean that's a respectable number.
Yeah,
respectful.
Thank
in
you.
comparison to me, it's a lot higher than me. I told you.
I did it. I did it 18 to 47, and I had a few relationships in there, but nothing longer than like 6 months, at a time, or 5 months. But I had a few, and I was always the one thing I never did. And hopefully you can respect this, Sarah. I never cheated on anybody if I told them I was only seeing them, So I don't believe in that. And, of course, I've never cheated on my wife, so I'm done now. I'm finished. So 419 is it for me. But Brett doesn't want to talk about his numbers. I don't know where he's at. But I never got anybody pregnant. And I did not use condoms. But once my wife wanted to get pregnant, we got pregnant both times in less than 60 days.
Nice.
So I'm pretty good. That just tells me I was skilled. And you never know who's on the pill or not,
right,
or who's you don't. It's scary, but you got to have that timing. So that last little, when you get that feeling, you got to get out early. Am I wrong? I mean, early.
Yeah. Well, or you can learn how to have orgasms without ejaculating. That's what I teach guys how to do.
How do you, all right.
What?
Spotlight on you, Sarah. How, just in a nutshell, explain how a guy can have an orgasm, get that, but nothing comes out.
All right. So orgasm and ejaculation are actually two separate things, two separate actions that happen. We have evolved for orgasm and ejaculation to happen at or almost at the same time because of the biological incentive to ejaculate, right? Like if we're going to procreate, you have to ejaculate, and orgasm feels good. So if you orgasm, you're more likely to want to ejaculate. If you were just ejaculating without orgasming, what's the purpose, right? There's no point. So we've evolved for that to happen that way. But just like women can have orgasms without ejaculating, because women can ejaculate as well, men can also have orgasms without ejaculating. You can have multiple orgasms just like a woman can. So the way you do it, actually in my sex stallion training, there's like step-by-step process of going through it. But a big part of it is having a strong PC muscle. So that way, when you feel the orgasm, ejaculation happening, you can squeeze those and keep the ejaculation from coming out and still have the experience of orgasm throughout your entire body. And that's how people can have orgasms that last for, minutes, 20 minutes, even hours. You can have orgasms that just keep going, rolling. And it's different than a peak ejaculatory orgasm where you peak and then you crash, which is what most people think of as orgasm. And that's typically the only type of orgasm that most men ever experience. but you can actually have orgasms that like will start in the genitals, like move through your body, go up like a peak, but then come back down, and then over and over, keep cycling, or just orgasms that feel more like rolling waves through your body or rushes of energy, like fire moving through your body. So like there's a lot of different ways that orgasm can happen. We're pretty conditioned though to think that orgasm only happens in one way. And a lot of that comes from research that was done that only tracked that one type of orgasm, the male ejaculatory orgasm. And that then became science that was kind of the precedent of, okay, well, this is because this is the type of orgasm that we have tracked, that we've seen happen over and over, this must be the one that happens. But there's actually a lot of different ways that you can have orgasms.
I have never, ever had nothing to say. I got nothing to say. I am amazed. I wish we had dated. Oh my God. Did you teach the guy in Jersey that you go out to see that does jiu-jitsu? I mean, do you teach these people how to do this?
So no, I don't typically teach my lovers. I typically, they are either already trained or, they take my training, something like that. But I don't like to like in the moment be teaching them. I prefer, and the guys that I coach, I let them know, like, do this stuff on your own first. Don't practice on a woman. Like, practice this on your own. But yeah, guys that I coach, they're having non-ejaculatory orgasms all the time. And it's not that they don't ever ejaculate, because it's actually really healthy for men to ejaculate, but it's that they have control over it. They know when they're going to ejaculate. They are able to have sex for as long as they want. And it's that they're not dependent on the ejaculation in order to have their orgasms. So for guys, if you have to ejaculate in order to orgasm, then you only get that climax at the end of sex. Whereas if you can have orgasms throughout sex, then you can keep having sex and keep having that orgasmic state throughout, a big part of the time you're having sex.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes basic sense if you've got that feeling, because I think everybody, if I'm correct, you're as hard as you're going to be when you're having your orgasm. Right? That's just when you're like, bam, or right before. So if you're having that, you're staying like that, and you're just going on and on and on and on. So yeah, I'm a crasher. I never have done what you're talking about. It's like, but I'm able to have sex a long time. I can go 20, 30, 40 minutes. I'm not one of those like 4-minute, 3-minute, but if I concentrate and really get into it and think of some nasty ass things, I can have sex quick. But I'm a one orgasm guy. Once I've done it, I might go back a second time, but it's rare. Maybe in the morning, but not that night, because I'm kind of like, been there, done it, But can guys recover quicker to do that again?
Right. Well, that's the thing. You don't have a refractory period if you're not ejaculating. It's the ejaculation that you need to recover from, not the orgasm.
Wow.
So just like how a woman can have orgasm after orgasm after orgasm, men can also.
See, never did I know that until I had you on again, talking with Sarrah Rose. My God, this podcast, what is it again? It is Sex and Sarrah Rose podcast. How often does this podcast take place?
Every week. Yeah.
Damn. Every week. Brett, every week.
I know.
Every week, Brett.
I've listened to the show. And by the way, I always equate what you were saying about, like, if you do it once or if you do it twice or whatever, I always do gun references. I'm like, you got your musket guys, you got your 6-shooters, and then you kind of got your, like, ARs.
Thank you, Brett, from the NRA.
One day. But no, so one thing that she did cover recently on one of her podcasts, well, I mean recently, relatively, like in the last month or two, was kinks. And Steve's huge thing is feet. And I've worked in an office with this guy for many years where, like, if a woman wears open-toed shoes, I mean, there's a bullseye on them feet.
There is, and I think toes should look a certain way, and I like if you accessorize. Like, I remember when toe rings were big in the 90s, and then anklets, and then, the shoes and the heels, and, flip-flops. A girl can look cute in flip-flops, but, man, the toes really got to look great to pull off a pair of flip-flops. But I like stair-steppers. where the big toe's the longest and it looks like stairs going down. And or the second toe could be even with the big toe. But I don't really dig the pinky toe way back in the back. Sometimes it is. I like it kind of up with the rest of the toes. And I like a toenail on the pinky toe, not like a chip or where it's curled under and I just can't see it. So I'm a little bit of a perfectionist about it. I dated wonderful feet. I fell in love with a damn good foot, but it's not my ideal foot, which it's tough. You want to show your toes?
Oh my God.
I know. I'm like sitting here listening and I'm like, I wonder if I don't even know like how my feet compare to all of that. I've definitely had guys tell me, but because of quarantine, and I say this, I'm not going to say I have shame around this because I don't, but with some regret, I have not had a pedicure in many months because I am not going into a nail salon during the COVID pandemic.
That's fine. My wife too. I noticed my mother-in-law, nobody's got toenail polish on. You're fine. And nobody's doing it.
I am the person like literally, and also because I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, my feet, my hands get like they get wrecked every week, but I'm there in the salon every single week doing like the not just the basic, but like the big one with like the paraffin and the extra massage, the extra oils. So the fact that I haven't had anything done in the last few months definitely makes me sad.
Well, you know what? You're being a good girl and you're staying safe. Now, you keep referencing the jiu-jitsu. I have a friend, George Stein. He's been on our program. He's a DUI attorney, but he also does personal injury for motorcyclists. And this guy is ranked. He's like just over 60, but he competes doing jiu-jitsu. And I know enough about it, but why do you take Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Is that a part of the is it tantric? I'm saying it right? Tantric?
You're fine, yeah.
Yeah. Is it any of that, or is it to protect yourself from perverts, or is it just a part of like your meditation and knowing your body?
It's just a release.
Yeah.
A release?
I just love it. I have so much fun when I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I find that guys that train, not all clearly, but I feel like a lot of guys that train, they're just really awesome. There's so much humility that comes from having your freaking head pounded into the mat over and over, having your neck choked. Like, you know your resilience, but you also know how close you are to death in any given moment and how the fragility of life. And there's a lot of humility that comes from that, of coming from also knowing that you can take life. And it's very empowering, but not in an egotistical way. And so I tend to find people in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, like they can talk shit online and stuff, but they're usually like really, really good people. And it's I just fell in love with it. I started it for self-defense, but what I found was I had done so much personal development work of empowering myself internally. And then when I started doing jiu-jitsu and I had that external empowerment as well, and I felt powerful and strong in my body, that it really completed everything. And it made me feel just that much more whole. And like, I became more aggressive in business and started becoming more successful. And a lot of that I do attribute to doing BJJ.
That's awesome. All right, Sex and Sarrah Rose. We have the lovely Sarrah Rose on right now. And guys, this is a girl you need to listen to. Definitely one of the best. Brett sold you highly, and he watches your podcast. I will now start watching your podcast. I think it's very interesting. We're going to take a commercial break real quick, but I'd like to come back and talk to you about some different topics. First, when we come back, I want everybody to know how they can find you. So I'd like to know all your social media, your podcast, your email, anything that you're putting out there that people can follow you, Sarrah. And also I want to talk about, and I took some notes here, power sex, what that is, what it is to other people. Let's talk about the myth of sex addiction. I thought I had a sex addiction. I didn't want to be in a relationship. So along those and a little self-love, because I think there's a lot of guys out there doing self-love and how that can help you, but you can practice, right, to be a better lover. So Absolutely. When we come back, I'd like to talk about all of that and where we can find you. All right, right now, the Yeah Come On Show will take a break from one of our sponsors, Ridgeline Counseling, Dr. David Markwell. He'll help your mind. Sarrah will help your guy. We'll be right back.
I'm David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. The current situation we're in is bringing all kinds of issues into our lives, everything from stress and anxiety to frustration, bouts of depression and loneliness. Well, we're here to help at Ridgeline Counseling. You can reach us at 770-993-9700, or you can email us at ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. Currently, we're offering telemental services through video and phone platforms, and in a few weeks, we'll be transitioning back to in-person office visits. In the meantime, stay safe. We'll get through this. Yeah, come on.
Special thanks to David Markwell, a psychiatrist, a lovely man who helped me, Sarrah, with marriage counseling prior to marriage. And I probably should give him a call every once in a while just because marriage, not easy, but I'm doing pretty good, I think. But he is with Ridgeline Counseling, and you can get a hold of him for counseling. And this is for anything if you just need to talk to somebody. Also, Oxygen Financial, Ted Jenkins. Right now, it's a tough time out there. But guess what? There's a lot of people making money out there. Are you making money? Talk to Ted Jenkins with oxygenfinancial.com and circle285.com. Circle 285, that's where you go to get a free quote. Have you been with the same insurance company for 10, 15 years? You're probably paying too much if you're a good person. If you don't total cars, if you haven't replaced your roof 5 times, go ahead and give them a message. Go to circle285.com for a free quote. Those are our sponsors right now with Sarrah Rose on the West Coast. And Sarrah Rose is a sex therapist. She's a sexually driven woman, I assume. She has multiple lovers across our fine continent, probably internationally as well. And she is completely naked during this podcast. How are you doing, Sarrah?
Loving it.
That is for... There's going to be so many people hauling ass home going, all right, I don't normally listen. I listen to the Yeah Come On show, but I don't watch it. But I tell you what, didn't he say it was on YouTube? I got to see this chick.
I got to see this one.
I got to see this woman. I got to see. I mean, big breast, small breast. Are you a large-breasted woman? I can't even tell.
No, I'm not. I'm like a small C.
But you know what? That's so sexy. And like, women with breast, a lot of guys get bored with the big breast or whatever. They may look cool. I think you got to be about a B or C. Am I right? That's probably best. Some guys like the nasty D.
I mean, I think every guy has his own preference. Some guys are boob guys. Some guys are feet guys.
Thank you.
Talking about asses.
All right. And nice. I assume you have a nice butt.
I work hard on my ass, yes.
There you go. All right, so you're training, you're doing what it takes, you're working on your Kegel. Did you say Kegel or Kegel muscles? What are those?
I say Kegel.
Kegel. Man, we got Kegel, we got tantric, what the hell? Tantric. Right now, though, I would like, Sarrah, for those people that are interested in what we're talking about, and again, the fact that you blew our mind saying that you can have an orgasm without ejaculation, I'm still like mouth wide open. No, I mean, I'm just blown away. No, I mean, I'm freaked out. There you go. I said a lot of weird things there. I got a little nervous. So tell me how people can find you, Sarrah. This is kind of like your cigarette break. So go ahead and take a puff and tell us how to find Sarrah Rose.
So my website is Tantric Activation, TANTRIC. It's how you spell Tantric, activation.com. Same for Instagram, Tantric Activation. I also have my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu page, which is Sarrah Rose Jiu-Jitsu. Sarrah has 2 R's, SARRAH. And Instagram, I'm sorry, not Instagram, Twitter is I am Sarrah Rose.
I am Sarrah Rose.
I am Sarrah Rose, yeah.
All right.
Plenty of ways to find me.
Hi, I'm going to like you. I'm going to like you when this is over, so I need you to like me back.
On Instagram?
Both Instagram and Twitter. I'll do both of those.
All right, cool.
I am Sarrah Rose.
I am Sarrah Rose.
And Sarrah, sex. When did you find that this is kind of your niche? I don't know what you were doing for a career prior to, but this is what you were going to do and how you were going to help people.
Yeah, so I mean, it started with having good sex, is how I decided to make a career of it. I came from having very bad sex, just typical sex that most people are having: vanilla, boring, unfulfilling, no orgasms unless I was using my vibrator, that type of thing. And I started practicing Tantra. I went to India and got certified twice. I went in 2013, then I went again in 2014 for additional certification. I started having sex with a guy who was also practicing Tantra, and we just had absolutely fucking incredible sex that literally changed my life. And I was like, the whole world needs this. And so I decided to start a brand and a company that would make an impact throughout the entire world. And that's exactly what I've done.
Hey, congratulations. Very impressive the fact that you went over and did that and had a calling, because I think there's a lot of women, you always think it's easy for a woman to have an orgasm, but there are women out there that haven't or only had a few. What would you say to them real quick? How can a woman, like, whether she's with her husband or boyfriend, have an orgasm? Say the guy's going 30 minutes, 20 minutes, he's not small, but yet she's not having an orgasm. I hear about these things. I had a roommate said his girlfriend never had an orgasm.
Yeah, women have a lot of sexual trauma that they store in their bodies from this lifetime, but also through epigenetic stuff that's been passed down to them through previous generations of women having sexual trauma. And we live in such a sex negative society that really attacks female sexuality. And what happens is our bodies are in lockdown. Like the trauma creates a freeze state in the body. And that freeze state, there's numbness that happens, depression that comes from it. Also, women have a lot of performance anxiety. Like if they think that if they don't come in a certain amount of time, then their partner is going to be upset with them. They think that if they don't smell right, if they don't look right, all these different things cause women to shut down and not be able to open up and surrender when they're having sex. And it's that state of surrender that needs to happen for them to fully be able to just have powerful, incredible orgasms. When I was working as a women's sex coach, I would lead classes and women were just having like amazing orgasms and just having just incredible experiences and just totally unleashing like their primal aspect of themselves. And then they would say to me, Sarah, I could never be like this with a man. Like he couldn't handle me like this. And that's what women feel. Women feel like men cannot handle them when they are fully expressing themselves sexually. So I work with guys so that they can experience that for themselves. And once they have gone to those states themselves, then women can feel and trust them. And they just know like, okay, this guy gets it. This guy can handle all of me.
Wow. That's impressive. Damn. A tiger, 2 tigers having sex, 2 lions. Damn. Yeah. I've slept with one girl one time. I swear we never even kissed. And the whole time she was like breathing through her nose. I'm like, all right, this is doing nothing for me. I'm giving all. I mean, I was doing moves. I hit the right song. I'm like, and I was like, what the hell? So she probably had some issues, sounds like.
I'm not sure. I don't know why she was doing that.
Okay. All right. She was breathing. The good news is she kept breathing.
She kept breathing.
Yeah. You never, ever, ever want somebody to quit breathing you in the bedroom. I know that for a fact. Power sex. Can you explain that quickly? I just want to hit a couple of terms, and then I want to throw it to my partner, Brett Barney.
Yeah, so the Power Sex podcast that we did was really stuff that we've touched on here as well, about having the internal power, like having that type of sexuality that starts from the inside out, that is like fully integrated, where you feel powerful in your body, you feel powerful in your sexuality, and you're having sex from that place. Most people have sex from a very insecure place, and it's not fun, right? It's not something that we enjoy, and sex becomes boring. Sex becomes something we avoid, we disassociate from. So when you build this internal ecology of just sexual power, like you're having sex from that place instead. And it just makes sex so much more amazing. You can see people that have sexual confidence. They don't even have to say anything. You can read it in their body language. It's just their expressions. and it impacts the rest of our life as well, not just sex.
Boom. Right. I mean, now you've gotten to know me. What do you think? Sexual predator? No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was horrible. Not
That was
funny.
the last question I had written down. Now that you got
I know. That's
is he
I
a
beat you
mature
to
real
it.
guy or a fake?
No. What do you think? Southside Steve, is it real? What's up?
Is it real? I gotta get to know you better, Steve.
Damn it, Sarah.
He's a fake. He's a fake.
No, I'm not. You know what the problem is Sarah, you realize this, if you do it well with one girl, I guess girls I always assume they tell their friends, roommates. I would have sex with all her friends as we quit dating. And there was no anger, but I went through groups of friends or like through 5 interns, over a period of, a year, just because I think girls talk, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely talk for sure.
Yeah. So if you do it bad, that wouldn't have been happening.
Right. Well, yeah, if you do it bad, they're going to stay away.
Okay. Ha, Brett. I just want to make a point. This is between Brett and I. One quick last question. Self-love. What is it?
Self-love is where it all starts. I mean, do you love yourself enough to do the work necessary to start having incredible sex, to have an incredible relationship? That's where it starts, because many people come at it from a perspective of, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, I need to fix myself, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, nobody's going to love me. Well, because you don't love yourself. So start there, develop that self-love, develop in confidence in yourself, know that you are worthy, you are deserving, and start living your life from that place. And then from that place, like, people will just be more drawn to you naturally, rather than you needing to be so proactive and approach and pursue them.
Totally. Now that's good. You got to love yourself. And that's that saying, you got to love yourself or you can love somebody else. True.
Absolutely.
All right, Brett, what have you got over there?
All right. I'm going to fire off just random stuff that I just wrote. Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
It actually is. They've actually done studies about that. And our sexuality, our sex organs are something that are designed to be used. And if we're not using them, then women will start to go into menopause, or men will stop having erections, things like that. So use it or lose it is important. Yes. Yes.
Does it get smaller? You know how people shrink? Like they say people shrink over time.
Like how my grandmother was 5'3", but when she died, she was like 4'9".
Yeah, that. And like your ears get bigger and your nose gets bigger. Does your penis get bigger, or does it get smaller?
Well, okay, so all I can say is that guys that do a lot of tantric practices, they tend to report that they notice and they get feedback from their partners that their penises do get bigger. There's a lot more blood flow going to the area from the types of practices that we do. There's a lot more like focus and attention on that area of the body, which just I'm not speaking scientifically, I'm not speaking medically, I'm not making any claims, just saying this is something that many men have reported to me, hearing this from their partners and noticing this in themselves when they do different tantric practices.
Cool.
Have you ever met Sting?
I have not met Sting, but he comes up on every single interview that I do.
Why did you do it, Brett? We would have been the first interview not to bring him up, and you had to bring him up.
Dude, actually, the first question I written out was, how did you get into sex coaching? I can assume it wasn't a career aptitude test in high school. Was it Sting? That was the first question I wrote.
Sarah, I apologize. I thought we were better than that, but we're not.
Hey, Sarah, what's your favorite slang term for having sex?
My favorite slang term?
Because if you're with a Jersey guy, smashing, I think, is big up in Jersey.
Yeah.
That's
they say
awesome.
smashing a lot. Yeah, I see that on all the BJJ pages all the time. And they're all like asking asking the guys if they hit me yet. So that comes up a lot.
You tap that? Tap that. I've heard tap that a lot in my life.
Tap that a lot, yeah.
Hit it.
I'm like, just fuck me, please. That works for me.
God bless her. That's the kind of conversation it needs to be in the bedroom. I'm just saying.
What does it mean if you sleep with someone and they never call you back?
You can. I don't make any judgments on that. I think people are very busy. People have a lot going on. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of distractions in the world. I mean, I've had sex. Actually, I ended up dating a woman, but I met her, and we had sex, and then so many things happened in my life, and I didn't end up seeing her again for like 7 or 8 months after that. We had incredible sex, and I really liked her a lot. And then we ended up going on to date after that. But it was just where I was at in my life that I really did not have the time to be with her more than I was.
What do you prefer, men or women? Or are they both cool?
Oh, I love both.
You love both?
I love both.
Do you ever see yourself getting married?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
That leads to my next question. Do you believe soulmates are a real thing?
I think that most people that think that they have met their soulmate are actually meeting somebody that has triggered a wounding that they have from childhood most of the time. And it's something that you can either use that relationship to heal the wounding that you have, or you will tend to get destroyed even more. So it needs to be a very conscious relationship.
Wow, that was good.
I know you've given a lot of advice for men that listen to our show, but sometimes we do have some women or girlfriends or wives that listen to the show as well. I know it's not as large a number. What advice would you have for some of the women?
Women, speak up. Let guys know what you want. They're not going to know if you don't tell them. And get to know your own body. Explore your own pleasure. Find a reputable tantra teacher that you can work with that can help you unlock your orgasms, release the trauma. And it doesn't have to be acute trauma. We often think of trauma as an acute experience that happens, such as rape or something. It can just be chronic trauma that adds up in your body and gets stored in your nervous system over time. And it really does impact your pleasure. So you've got to move through that. You've got to heal that, release it from your body so you can really start having amazing sex.
Brett, you got a quick closing question?
Have you ever heard of the lemon test?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking of something, but I don't know if it's what you're talking about.
Would you like to explain?
Sarrah Rose, I invented the lemon test. People that have listened to Atlanta radio, I would go into a bar and I would go up, as we're drinking, to the garnishments, and grab, there's lemons, limes, and I would grab a lemon and I would put it in my pocket, maybe 2. And then when I got to where we were going to start hooking up, when you're doing and this is something you don't do as a married man, reach your hand down the front of a girl's pants. That's what you do when you're dating. That kind of stops. I don't know why it stops when you get married, but you're not putting your hand down their pants anymore. But when I was doing that, I would get a little bit of that lemon juice on my fingers and I would go down. And if she was like, or it hurt her, then I would know there's an open womb. So she could have like herpes or something and I would like run away. What do you think? What do you think? That's the lemon test. What do you think, Sarah? Nothing?
Only heard here.
Yes.
Well, I would love for you to be a guest again on the Yeah Come On show. I want to thank my co-host, Brett Barney. I want to thank Tyler Maynard back at Oxygen Financial in Alpharetta in our studios. And I just want to tell you guys, you've got to go to tantricactivation.com. You've got to listen to Sex and Sarrah Rose. She was our guest today on the Yeah Come On show. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarah, what do you think? Am I the guy? Am I the guy?
You're the guy. You are the guy.
You're a guy.
You're the.
I just want to know, do you think I can close?
I'm curious how the transition for you has been from 418 to stopping at 419.
Kids have helped. I'm just a different person. I've just had to shut it down. I find myself tired. I don't know. Do you think it's tough not to want more, not to want strange, not to put your hand down a strange person's pants or touch a different size breast?
No, I mean, I think what happens is we create patterns. And so we'll create a pattern of monogamy or we'll create a pattern of non-monogamy. And then you can create new patterns, but there's definitely something that it can be a transition to go from one extreme to the other.
Okay. But there you go. I love it. Damn, Sarah, you're as deep as you are hot. This has been fun. I just want to thank you.
Hey,
Come back to us again, and can I get a yeah, come on?
Yeah, come on.